Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for joining me this morning for another edition of CBT Now on the CBT Automotive Network. The annual Iseecars study is out, and joining us to break down the findings is Karl Brauer, who's the executive analyst at Iseecars.com. So today we're jumping into this with you, and it seems as though the Japanese once again are doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, we've heard, I think, for years, decades, in various quality studies, anecdotal stories with our family and friends about how long their various Japanese cars last, Toyota being probably the biggest representative of that. Corollas going forever, Forerunners, Land Cruisers.
Sure.
And now we've got data to prove all the anecdotal or kind of verify some of the other quality studies we've seen. But we have this ability to look at the lifespan of cars. We looked at 174 million cars and the data on their kind of time frame, the miles they were accumulating, how long they were on the market before they vanished. And we've got a lot of advanced data science going on. And the bottom line is we're able to see which brands and models have the longest lifespans. And right now we're releasing the brands, kind of a precursor, and then we're going to soon release all the models and all the segments and rank all the cars.
So give us the high points. Which ones top the list?
It's not very surprising, but the number one brand is Toyota for longest lasting lifespan. They have an incredibly high chance of producing a car that lasts over 250,000 miles. That's the benchmark. So we looked at cars that were likely to get to 250,000 miles. We broke out all the models, and then of course we rolled those models up to the brand level, and that's what this study is. And Toyota has a 17.8% chance of producing their average car has a 17.8% chance of getting to 250,000 miles. And that's pretty amazing when you consider that the average car has a 4.8% chance. So almost 4 times as likely with a Toyota versus the average vehicle.
My gosh, that is incredible. Very, very impressive. No wonder it's one of the best franchises to have out there for dealers. It's always on the franchise most desired list, right, of dealers that want to pick up franchises. They always want Toyota. And if they have Toyota, they want more Toyota points, right? But it is a great car, and obviously consumers feel the same way about their product. What else is on the list right behind Toyota?
So we got 32 brands that we ranked, and you could really look at this as another kind of ranking of kind of quality. This is technically lifespan, predicted lifespan capabilities, but I think that's highly correlated with overall vehicle quality. And so number 2 is Lexus, Toyota's premium brand, and then 3 is Honda, and 4 is Acura, Honda's premium brand. So you basically have Toyota and Honda right at the top of the list with their premium brands coming in right behind each of their volume brands.
Yeah. The study also breaks down into categories like luxury and non-luxury. What stood out to you in those rankings?
Well, it's interesting because luxury cars aren't driven as aggressively, so their percentage chance of getting to 250,000 miles is lower because they're just not used the way volume cars are. But what that means is that more of the brands are above average. And if you look at the list, Jim, you might have noticed that only 4 brands are above that 4.8% average, the ones that we just mentioned, Honda, Acura, Lexus, and Toyota. And people are like, well, how could only 4 brands be above out of 32 brands could be above average? And it's like when we were in high school or college and you had that really smart kid that was screwing up the curve for everyone else in the class.
Right.
Those brands do so well, and they set such a high standard that they're above average, and all the other 28 brands are below average in when you don't have any filter. If you filter on luxury, and I'm looking at the numbers right here, you end up with 15 brands, and 5 of them are above average because the average in the luxury brand category is only 3.2% that can get to 250,000 miles. But above average are Lexus, Acura, Tesla, Cadillac, and Lincoln. So a good call out and a good sign for those 4 brands to be above average in the luxury segment.
Okay. Tesla shows up, as you said, above average in the luxury ranking. Was that surprising to you?
It was a little surprising to me for a couple reasons. One is because they're a newer brand, and I wasn't sure we had enough data on them. But they've sold a lot of cars, as you know, so they've given us enough data to evaluate the brand and all the individual models. And when I thought about it, it's like they are electric cars. The whole point of an electric car is that it's got fewer components. There is no radiator, there's, the power steering pump, all these things that you had to deal with on a lot of the other cars out there don't exist in an electric car.
Yeah.
So it should actually last longer because there's just fewer parts to fail over the course of 250,000 miles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. On the flip side, which brands fell to the bottom of the list?
Yeah, not really a surprise when you think about it. The bottom list is Maserati. And again, I'm not sure how much of that is purely like build quality versus just driving behavior, right? It's like how many Maseratis get to 250,000 miles because people are willing to drive them for 250,000 miles. That's just not how they're used, right? But some of the other ones that are more mainstream brands like Mini, Jaguar, Land Rover. Those are the bottom four brands are Land Rover, Jaguar, Mini, and Maserati. Those are the bottom four brands. I don't think anyone would be really shocked at those brands being the least likely to get to 250,000 miles. And then right above them are another four are Chrysler, BMW, Volkswagen, and Audi. And so again, probably not brands that really are too surprising to see that low on
BMW's on there, huh? That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't think
it's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because I actually had an older BMW. I kind of got through a common friend, and that had 205,000 miles when I got it, and I drove it to 217 and sold it to someone running fine. So there's certainly, and you're going to have a lot of people who are going to look at this list. I've had this car go this long. Remember, this is the aggregate of all the cars and all the models out there.
Right. Good point. Very good point. Interesting stuff. We'll show a link right below the video that you're watching to get the entire list. And so Karl Brauer, executive analyst for Iseecars.com. Thank you so much for stopping by CBT News. This is good stuff.
Yeah, always fun looking at this kind of data. And remember, we got the models coming soon. So if you want to come back at some point, we can dive into the individual models that are the most likely to get to 250,000.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you.
Thanks.